Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. In the midst of all of the controversies surrounding the gaming industry, sometimes we must turn away from the manipulative greed of the AAA publishers and their investors in order to give proper credit where credit's due, and unfortunately, it is an extremely depressing sign of the times when we find reason to praise a video game developer for simply having the intentions of just making a game for people to enjoy. The game on your screen now is called Vampyr. It is an RPG game based in 1918 post-war London and is developed by DontNod and published by Focus Home Interactive. The game's story focuses on Jonathan Reed, who is both a doctor and, of course, a vampire. The game itself is distinguished in more than one specific way. At first, the storyline does seem to hold a lot of potential as you're dealing with a character whose work is saving lives, but his vampiric nature forces him to take lives in order to survive himself. The whole feel of the game, from what I've seen, seems to draw inspiration from The Witcher 3, complete with the vampire vision, which is nearly identical to Geralt's Witcher vision. The game is also reported as having a ton of depth to its NPCs. Each NPC has their own story arcs, backstories, and histories. Each of them is a real character within the game, and your actions and decisions affects each of them in a very real way. This is designed in what they have called the Citizens system, which in an interview with MCV, the head of Focus Home Interactive, Cedric Lagarrigue, said the following: "The Citizens system, which fits the curse aspect of the vampire, is very original. The player is doomed to kill in order to survive and become stronger. Players won't just feed on unnamed prey. They will make difficult choices, as the main character is a doctor as much as a vampire. They save lives, but also kill to survive. By investigating potential victims, it's up to the player to inform themselves on whether a character deserves to be fed on or not. The impact of every choice will be felt through the story and the game's various districts. It is very captivating and adds a lot to the experience." Now, my personal interest in the game further increased after reading Stephen Messner's article about the game on PC Gamer, in which he stated, "Wow, this sure does look like The Witcher 3 and Vampire Bloodlines had a baby." And it would seem that not only does every NPC have their own name and backstory, but each of them holds quests to some degree or another. In the article, Messner talks about how each district has its own sort of health meter, which is determined by your actions during your quests. Protecting the citizenry and being mindful and careful with how you feed and who you feed on will ensure the prosperity of the districts. Disregard people's safety during your quests or feed too greedily and the district worsens, which will result in merchant prices increasing or some side quests becoming unavailable due to your feeding on the quest giver. Eventually, the district will simply fall apart and monsters will invade, killing everyone inside the district. However, if you decide to go down the dark path and make sure every district falls, you can still complete the main quest, so you do retain the freedom to play as you choose, whether it be savior or villain. But as fun as all of that sounds, perhaps the most interesting aspect is that this game is being made with old school ideals in mind. DontNod and Focus Home Interactive plan on making a full, complete experience, and then that's it. No DLC, no microtransactions, no industry bullshit that we've all come to know and loathe. This was apparently a very well-planned budget, and they know what they need to sell in order to be profitable and what they need to break even, and if the game is profitable, it will get a sequel. If it isn't profitable, then they will mothball the project. However, even with that, they are extremely conservative and realistic in their estimates. Again, in Cedric Lagarrigue's interview with MCV, he said, "It is always very difficult to make forecasts with a brand new IP. The game benefits from a solid budget superior to most independent video games. However, it is not a blockbuster whose budget would be over $50 million. From our investment, it will be considered a success when around 1 million copies are sold, but it will only need half of that to be profitable. These are numbers we now reach and exceed regularly with most of our games. Vampyr benefits from strong recognition and expectations, which will only increase over the coming weeks. It has everything it needs to become a nice surprise on the market." And looking at all of this, I'm reminded of a very young CD Projekt Red with a brand new IP that no one had heard of before called The Witcher. It was far from a perfect game. In fact, many considered it to be somewhat bad, but there was just something about the game, its lore and its characters, that kept people coming back for more. It had a flavor to it that was at the very essence of the passion that we see in some developers, and I'm seeing that passion and that drive again here with Vampyr. With a developer and a publisher who are content to make a quality game, have it earn some profit, and then move on to the sequel, further exploring the world and the characters they've created. The BioWare of old started out in not too different circumstances. So you can bet that I will absolutely be keeping an extremely close eye on DontNod and Vampyr in the coming days, and they are expected to release the game in the first quarter of 2018. But as always, please do let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you like what I do on this channel and wish to show your support, being YouTube is still being a titanic pain in the butt when it comes to content like this being deemed not suitable for advertisers, you can do so by subscribing to my Patreon. A link is in the description below. Also, big thanks to the 20 and Up Club, those people who are generous enough to donate $20 or more each month to help make sure I can keep bringing you videos as often as possible. They are listed down in the description as well. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time.